Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today for another Mastering BakeSmart. We're calling this one the Bells and Whistles episode. And the reason why we're doing that is because we find that as we progress through the feedback and the information that we get from our customers and from onboarding and from sales calls, we realize that we have a ton of features that we push regularly that don't always get the limelight of a big feature release like our V2 from last month or our Wholesale from the month before. And so we wanted to take today as an opportunity to introduce you to a few things that have snuck in there, but also just mention how that happens and why that is. And it's because BakeSmart is different than most POS companies in that we're a small, dedicated team of people who have been in your shoes, right? Most of us were ex-owner operators, and the other half of us have been doing this for 20-something years, not to date you guys, but it's been a long time. And so as we're talking to customers, we really get this feedback and these nuggets of information and requests, and we ruminate on them and we think through them as a team together and decide a priority of kind of what happens and what goes. And that really is weighed against actual application and actual feedback from customers. It means that we don't always get an opportunity to tell you guys about these cool little features that are going to save some of you a ton of time. And so we hope to super burn through a lot of those things today. We are going to move really quickly through this because we have a ton of information to cover today. And so we're asking that if you have a question, please throw it in the chat, and we will do our best to answer it in the chat. And then at the end, we'll also open the floor for questions and answers on things that you want to hit again that didn't get answered. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to share my screen with you. We are going to be looking through the system and just ask questions as we go along. So here comes my screen. So we're going to start right out from your home screen. This is the dashboard that you all have. And we're literally just going to go tab by tab and talk about the little nuances that we've added as a team here at BakeSmart. So not much has changed from your home screen, but I did want to draw attention to this here, which is going to be your same day pickup. Now, if you're an e-commerce user and you have same-day pickup, you're familiar with this, but some of you may not be. Same-day pickup is same-day e-commerce. When a same-day order comes through your e-commerce store into the bakery, BakeSmart has created a secondary tab that shows you what those orders are for people who aren't standing right in front of you. We've also added a new feature which also prints your same-day ticket to a dedicated printer inside your store. And if you've got the product that has been ordered through e-commerce as a drink ticket or a kitchen ticket, it will simultaneously print the ticket to those stations as well, right? And those are all based on settings that you set for same-day e-commerce, which are under your settings tab. Okay, so great new tool, great new feature that we have. Something that a lot of you have asked about is same-day pickup and e-commerce sales. Okay, so home screen remains largely unaffected. Our reports page did get kind of a big facelift recently. You'll notice that we have new reporting features here, including creating a new report, and I'm sure some of you have seen this new summaries tab. I could talk about this tab for an hour and a half straight because I am a finance nerd, and so this I feel was the gift that BakeSmart gave to me in creating this new daily financial summary. We can talk about this, but really what it comes down to is that you're going to be able to break down your sales in different ways. You're also going to be able to go down and create a GL export. So you can look at the general ledger export it to CSV, and then have an easier time working inside the financial software that you use. I'm happy to get on a call with you, happy to schedule time with you to talk about that more fully. Like I said, we could talk about it for a long time, but it'll take a whole episode, okay? But that summaries report is great. If you click on the create new report here, you'll also see if you're a time card user, you've got a time card report. If you're a gift card user, you have a gift card liabilities report. Okay, you also have a credit liability for store credit and outstanding balances if you're a wholesale user. So tons of features in here that got a nice update. And the biggest one I want to draw attention to, especially for POS users, is a drawer reconciliation report. This is great, and we have a secondary place that you can look at as well for when you run your Z report with no paper in your printer and having to run that again, or you call BakeSmart to get a hold of that. You can now self-serve by looking at your drawer reconciliation and also your register drawers underneath your transactions tab. Two new features that are just going to make POS life a little bit easier at the end of the night. Okay? So again, happy to dive more closely into reporting with y'all. This episode is just focused on pointing out the bells and whistles, okay? Jumping to our transactions tab, we already talked about your drawer registers tab here, which will allow you to access any of those reports as you close out, and it's historical as well, so you can go back in time. It's a great new feature for a lot of our POS users. And for the most part, not too many things have changed here, except for our e-commerce, but our wholesale users. You can now sort your wholesale only versus retail only orders here, which makes it a heck of a lot easier to look for something. If you've got both features, you also have your invoices that are easy to search here. So all new features, and you'll see that will get added if you add wholesale as a product to your lineup. Okay? Moving on down the line, we're going to jump into our products tab. Our last month's episode was about products V2, which has all to do with our custom orders and signature products and our cake matrix. We can share the YouTube video with you if you want it. We don't want to dive too far into it, but V2 was a huge bonus for us, a big advancement in the way we handle products underneath our dashboard tab. But there are a couple other things that I wanted to point out in here, in that you can now allow inscriptions on all standard products, which is something that a lot of you asked for. So if somebody walks in and wants you to write happy birthday on an apple pie, that is now something you can do. Okay. Additionally, in here underneath your settings, you'll notice that your departments now has the ability to add a secondary and a tertiary department. So you can add multiple departments to a product, which will help if you've got a apple pie baker and then maybe it's a finisher, or a cake baker and then a decoration finisher. You can now sort reports by departments and apply different departments there. You'll also see this revenue class is a new feature under settings, in which you can now apply a revenue class to each of your products. I'll talk about how to set this up as we get to the settings tab, but this is going to be huge. That's going to tie into that new financial reporting that we covered briefly. It's going to help all of my finance nerds look at the way your sales track at the end of the month. So again, something we're happy to dive into, but revenue class is now applicable to each product. Okay? You'll also notice here that there's a print deco ticket tab, which you can enable if you are allowing a decoration to be printed. We understand, an inscription rather, to be added. We understand that if you're adding an inscription, it doesn't need to have a deco ticket, so you can turn that feature on and off, but perhaps you don't have team members who were trained in the art of cake writing. Maybe they're left-handed and can't do it like me, but you can also opt to have that deco ticket not print or print, depending on the workflow in your bakery. That's one of the really nice things about BakeSmart, I can't talk about it enough, is that we understand that no bakery operates the same. Two bakeries on the same block can be completely different, and so we've offered a ton of features, and we hope that we highlight those here, that allow you to change the system to function the way you function. Okay? Going on down the list, if you're a wholesale customer, you'll see that your wholesale menus are here underneath your products list. Wholesale menus are pretty straightforward. You can still add and remove things. With the biggest bell and whistle that popped out now is that wholesale menus can now be applied to an address specific to a customer. So if you have a wholesale customer that has two addresses, you can now have separate menus going to each of those addresses with products that are available specific to each, or even a price increase. Okay, so that's a new feature, and all of that can be handled underneath our customer setting, which we're going to jump to right now. Okay, customers split by retail and wholesale. I do want to mention one thing very quickly about our customers tab, and that is that when you transition from cloud into new BakeSmart, we are able to now bring over your existing customer list and their order history. And when that happens, you're going to see a new classic tab here. That is a read-only file. You'll be able to open it and see what the order was, so that you can jump into the order system and place that order again for those customers. Okay, so that's a new feature. We've also trained the system to look for existing email addresses, so that we're not duplicating classic and new cloud customers there. Okay, it's not going to crash the whole thing. It's just going to stop and say, hey, that person already exists. Okay, the other tool here is going to be your wholesale filter. Now, as a wholesale customer, you'll see that this is where all of your wholesale folks live. We're going to look at Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew. I heard that place is great. And you'll see that this is the overarching customer, and they have two locations. And so now when we go to their account setup, you'll see, pardon me, underneath your account setup, this is where you're going to assign different menus, okay? And here I've got the Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew 2 and Auntie Hetty's 43rd Street Brew and Brew. And you can see that I've excluded them for our general wholesale menu because I want to give them a different menu, which I haven't done yet. But you can see now that place is no longer able to order from that general menu. Okay, so pretty cool new feature. Something else that we've recently added after several people have requested is that you can now apply bulk payments to our wholesale customers. And that tab works in a couple different ways. You can pick the oldest invoices first, and you can also select invoices to pay. If they give you $500, you can apply it, but you can also pay selected invoices in full, which allows you to cherry pick invoices that you want to pay. It's going to self-calculate, and you can push that payment through for that customer. Pretty cool new feature that we can add. It is also something that's available in your customer's portal as well, that they can make bulk payments for themselves as well. Pretty nice. Again, if you have any questions about the stuff that we're covering, I know I'm going rapid fire through these things, but it's because we have a ton of stuff to cover today. Okay, that's wholesale customers. Okay, time cards is a feature that BakeSmart has. That's something that didn't get a lot of fanfare. It is something that we do offer. There is an additional cost on that, but we do offer time cards. It is allowing your staff to go to one place to clock in and clock out if they're already being given a PIN code to access BakeSmart, to pull orders, place orders, search orders, pull reports, might as well track their time here. And so they're going to be doing that by going to the login screen. Oops, excuse me, wrong button. They're going to the pin mode screen here, and we're going to just have a pin in where they can clock in and clock out. They can also track breaks here as well. We've also added the feature to track tips so that if you are tracking tips by either payroll or if doing a tip pull, that can all be tracked in our reporting, which is additionally a new feature that we added. Okay, time cards is great. We'll look at the settings a little bit, but as you see people clock in and clock out, you can go in and you can edit, adjust their time card with adjustment reasons. Why did they clock it? Mike forgot to clock out for break, what the reason is. So what happened, Mike? So pretty great that you can take this all in. And BakeSmart's goal is to just make it easier so you don't have a gabillion different apps to look at every Tuesday for payroll or every end of the month. Okay, we really want to try to make this a one-stop shop for you for all those things. Which then brings us to gift cards, okay? We all have physical gift cards, but we also honor digital gift cards, and they can all be tracked here. Physical and digital gift cards can also be used to pay through our e-commerce store. So if your customers get a physical or digital, they can bring it through e-commerce as well. We can also import existing gift card lists. If you're a classic user, we can bring those over for you, and then we can provide you with the preferred vendor for gift cards that we'll have here shortly. Okay, I'm happy to answer any questions about gift cards. There's a ton of stuff in the help desk, which we're going to talk about here shortly as well, to guide you guys through the gift card process, but also understand that you can reach out to any of us at any time. We're happy to walk you through these processes, both time cards and gift cards. Okay, speaking of the help desk is great. We do have a ton of articles there. I know if you're an onboarding customer of Vine, we've seen this before. You can type in a keyword and it's going to pull up different articles that have been written to help you self-serve inside BakeSmart. Okay, we also do have a news feed that we use occasionally, especially to release things like a big product release that we had. A lot of the things that we're talking about today did come out in that release notes. So if you see that little notification there, definitely give it a peek, see what we're trying to tell you. And then the next one is going to be a give feedback button. And this is going to be how you harass Mike and Jared if you have an issue inside the system. You just type in a description here. You can attach a screenshot, record a video, and that goes entirely to the team. Actually, all of us get that. So we can all look at it and see if it's something that I know about and I can jump on, you'll hear from me. It really is a team effort here, trying to support you guys through the transition from classic to cloud, or if you're a new customer just learning the system. Okay, but those are all great ways to self-serve as well as reach out if you need help. Okay? The next thing we're going to look at is going to be inquiries. This is another add-on service that we have. Instead of going to social media or your inbox, we do have inquiries as something. We have articles about it. I think we're also have done a Mastering BakeSmart about it. If we haven't, we'll put it on the calendar. Inquiries is a great way to work through from your e-commerce and from your website, getting information in and then turning around and getting information out to customers with quotes and with orders being built. Okay, and it's going to pull information directly from the inquiry that you have. It is a single source inbox, meaning that everybody shares the same inbox, so you don't have to worry about a CC or a BCC. For any of the people who are attuned to the inquiry inbox, everybody sees everything. So it's a nice way. It's another way that we're keeping you in one platform instead of multiple. Okay? Now, that was a lot, and before we get into settings, I wanted to see if we had any questions that we can answer here. Jared says that we can also create users that are only able to clock in and out with no access to the rest of the app. That is 100% true. So dishwashers, bus people, even production bakers that have no need to get into the app itself, BakeSmart, app.bakesmart.com, do have a way to just clock in and clock out. Okay? Amy from CC says that you saw that you can keep cards on file for wholesale customers. Can the same be done for retail customers? Not right now. Currently, it is just for our wholesale customers. We can keep a card on file for them, and they can also keep as many cards as they want on file in the customer portal. But we are not currently doing that for retail customers, and I don't know if that's something that we're going to be developing anytime soon, but we'll keep you posted if that changes soon. Okay? Let's see. Christian is asking, are the privileges to access to inquiries? There are privileges, and so when we get into the settings tab, I'll show you where we can add specific people to access inquiries, because you do need to assign people because it is an open box and it is access to customers. We want to make sure that only people who were trained to do the inquiries have access to that. Okay? And Julie Johnson says, I'm not seeing the gift cards tab. Is that an add-on? We can get that turned on for you. I know that you have gift cards. It's not an add-on service in that it's an extra monthly subscription, but it is something that we do have to add so that the system registers that you can take gift cards. Okay, we do gift card pricing. We'll send you some information on that. One of us will follow up with you today, Julie, on that. Okay? Okay, any other questions before we move on to settings? Settings is going to be where really the meat of everything that we talk about come from, okay? So underneath our settings tab, this is going to be the way you set your system to respond, the rules that you have inside your production space, okay? If you haven't noticed it, and I know that we haven't mentioned it, we have a new company tab, right? This has been here for months now, but it's just something that we snuck in, and this is just a great way for you to very quickly update your logo, update your colors, look at what your subdomain is. Like me, I jump in and out of a lot of your accounts all day. And so if I'm trying to get to your e-commerce store or to your wholesale portal, I'll just come and copy and paste your subdomain and then cheat and type bakesmart.com to get there. So yeah, this is just a classic basic information page, the general page here. Okay. Underneath your locations, we're pretty much the same. Not much has changed here. Exceptions still is the same as well. I think there is one point of clarification that I want to make for some of you, is that when you're making an exception, you can pick your location. You don't need to check e-commerce only. E-commerce only turns on or off e-commerce, okay? You don't need to check that when you're setting it up for everyone. If you check that, then that says no e-commerce, but yes, everything else. So just make sure that you only check that if you are remaining open in your store, but not on e-commerce, okay? Okay, underneath teams, we did talk about time clock already, but this is where you would go through and set up your time clocks. Settings, adjustment reasons can be auto-loaded. Tornado is a big adjustment reason that I use a lot, usually for the excuses that people come up with for why they're not at work. It's just tornado. So that's one of my favorites. And then prompting to collect tips when they check out for the day, if that's something that you do, and also prompting for a department, which is huge, right? This is going to tie into not only revenue class, but the financial reporting in the end, is that you can now have a good idea of where your labor is being spent and the products that those are being put out with the revenue class tracking. So tons of flexibility there for people who want to get nerdy with their financial reporting. Okay. Lots of changes to products, and I'm going to start at the bottom of this list. This is new, and I think that this was another gift from BakeSmart to me. There's an import options list. Not a lot of you guys are going to use this. However, if you're introducing a new product line, instead of going one by one, you have always had the option to import your products by downloading the CSV template, filling it out, rules are right there, and uploading, okay? The system is trained not to import any duplicate products, so don't worry about that. It'll also scream at you if you don't give it the information that it's requesting for. Not scream, just yell at you with red. Okay, we've now added the options list, and it says option list, but you can actually use this for lists, any list, flavor list, a frosting filling list, option list, and a decoration list, which is huge. Some of you guys have huge lists for decorations. If you want to add a new decoration list because there's a new trend, you can download this template, fill out your deco list with the required information and upload it and not have to enter it one at a time. Okay, happy to help anybody walk through this process if needed. I use it constantly inside your systems. Big new fun tool for me. Okay. This is also underneath your settings products is where you're going to find revenue classes. This is where you add the revenue classes for your product. This is going to be your RTD or your RTE. This is going to be a bakery versus deli versus decorating or cookie department or cake department or weddings. It's all of the different ways that you're going to want to track the revenue streams inside your company and where you tie it back to versus labor and cost. Okay. Departments, we talked about being able to apply multiple departments, which I think that everyone should revisit their department settings and just make sure with that in mind that you can now build this out more in depth to get better reporting. And then finally, seasons. I know that this is a carryover from Classic. It will always and forever be one of my favorites, and we gave it a huge improvement, and that you can now bulk add products to a season. No longer going in one product at a time and adding. You can go through and bulk add, filter by category, okay? That's huge for us, okay? Jared just added here something that I completely glossed over is that BakeSmart can send text messages for order confirmations and payment requests 100%. And I'm actually going to jump out real quick because I think that's a huge value to us. When you're looking at your transactions and you have your payment requests and your image request tracking here, that is currently all being sent by email. Okay, but we can opt people into text messaging. We can send you information on that. When they opt into text messaging, it's going to give them the customer's phone number that they have on file. Okay, so that's something important to pay attention to. When they opt out of text messaging, you also do have the control to turn that back on for them. But it's a great feature. Thanks for bringing that up, Jared. And that also actually reminds me of something else, which I know a lot of folks are going to be asking about, and I know we're jumping back and forth, but this is huge as well. When you're taking a customer order, okay, and they opt for delivery, if their address is set up, the delivery now self-serves. It's going to self-pull, okay? You do have the option to edit this if it's not being delivered to the address that they have on file. If they're delivering it to their husband's work or their sister's house, you can do that. But if the customer has an address set up in the customer file, it's going to self-fill itself out, which is great. And then you can also set them a delivery charge. Okay, this is brand new for our retail customers. We can set up delivery fees. We'll look at that in settings, but you can also override that delivery charge too. So based on mileage, you can go ahead and set that up. Okay, pretty cool. Additionally, thanks for bringing that up, Jared, because I skipped this whole section. Additionally, for taking a customer...
It was Amy. Amy brought it up. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
So for customers, you can see what is this enter custom time, right? Anytime, we're closed on Mondays, so we just don't offer it. It's going to say, hey, you're a manager. You know your business better than BakeSmart does. Do you really want to take this delivery on a Monday? Yes, I sure do. And I also want to make sure that it's there by a specific time. So it's going to double confirm that's what you want to do, but it is going to allow you to override all of the settings that you have for availability, fulfillment, delivery time. As a manager, you do have to be a manager to do that, okay? Not only that, but you can also just push a standard order through, right? So if you've got a 3-day lead time on something and it's saying, hey, you have a 3-day lead time, you can place this order anyway. It's for the people who call and say, my other bakery bailed on my 1-year-old's birthday. Can I get something from you for tomorrow? You want to be that hero, so yes, you can, right? So BakeSmart is allowing you to service your customers the way you intend to service your customers, okay? It's going to keep your day-to-day employees within the constraints and the time frame that you set, but we are allowing you to move outside of that with that manager override, okay? So Amy, thank you for bringing that up. Thanks for putting me back on track there. Okay, going back into our product section, seasons, being able to bulk add those is great. Underneath orders is where we're looking. Not a ton in here. You're going to have your inquiries and your occasion settings down here. This is where you're going to want to add folks who have permission, right? So currently you go ahead and you assign permission. drop name down, assign, and then they populate this list, which means that somebody can just be an order taker or a cashier and have access to that inquiries box. They don't need to have, oh no, that's not correct. They actually do need to have an email. So shift supervisor or higher would be the people that you would assign to this. Apologies for the misspeak. Okay, your inquiries can all be set in here. It's going to pull the information from your standard page. You have inquiry form instructions here so that you're speaking to that audience different than anybody else, different than e-commerce, different than wholesale, different than retail. Okay, you can view your inquiry page here to see what your customers see. So just a lot of really neat tools that are, again, going to keep people out of your social media and email inboxes and inside the system for better service, speed, and accuracy. Okay, delivery charges is that new feature that we just derailed and went back to look at the ordering override for. You can put delivery charges in here, outside 15 miles, outside 20 miles, an hour away, and preload those so that you can drop down those choices when taking an order. Okay, and then your general tab, this is where you're going to say, yes, I want to allow managers to have override product availability. Okay, it's not something that we force you to have, but it is something that you can turn on for folks. Okay. Discounts remain largely untouched. Pretty great. Groups are pretty cool. I think that's a carryover from Classic. I'm happy to walk folks through discounts at any time. Payments is going to have a couple of new features that we talk about. Your deposit settings, of course, that's the way you function inside your operation, whether or not you take a deposit. Currency is going to be the dollar amounts that show up in your POS, and we take these, it's give me a 20, here's what you have. But the newest thing here is the death of the penny and how we're handling that, right? So here we're going to allow rounding to the nearest nickel and cash transactions, okay? And you will have to turn this on here, okay, in order to have that function safe. Okay, but that is treated under settings, payments, and currency. That's our solution to the penny being diminished, okay? Your credit card settings remain untouched. I know there's a lot of you who are currently doing surcharging. If you opt not to do surcharging but do want to do a convenience fee instead, we do have the field now where you can apply a convenience fee that will apply to all transactions across the board. Okay, so this is where you would set your fees. You can also check out your gift cards here. Put your terms and condition in for gift cards, which is available in the e-commerce view, and a truncated, abbreviated version of that. And you can also import new gift cards when you order a new box. You can come in here, download, get the numbers imported. That way you can self-serve your gift card feed there. Okay? I've got a couple of questions here. Can we do delivery by mile plus a base price? Mike, I said that is not what we're doing at the moment. That is still a classic feature, so Jared answered that one pretty well. Amy says, I put in an order for delivery yesterday, need a place to put the venue name. Okay, that's a great feedback for us. This is all new features for us, and like we talked about earlier, any feedback that you guys give us, send our way. We really do care, and we really do talk about it. We weigh it and balance it against existing customers, features that are coming, stuff that's already working, and we try to decide where it fits in our timeline for rolling out features, and we'll try to communicate to you where that falls. Okay, very rarely, I think Mike said earlier, very rarely have we ever said, no, that's not going to happen to someone. It's just how much time does it take for us to get there, and what do we already have coming down the pipe for us to look at, okay? Let's see, Jordan says, how do we do a refund in the POS for a walk-in item, not custom ordering? Jared will get with you, Jordan, on that after this. Take care of that, Jordan, or Jared.
Yeah, Jordan, it's from the menu, the three horizontal bars in the POS at the top left, and then there's the issue refund button. If you're having trouble after that, I can get with you after this and we can talk about it.
Cool. Okay. E-commerce has one of the best and biggest new features that we've seen in a really long time, okay? E-commerce has your general settings here, which is going to pull from your general page and your page description and such, but underneath fulfillment, you'll see these new box right here. BakeSmart now offers the next day cutoff for e-commerce orders, meaning that you can decide that nothing past 2 o'clock in the afternoon is going to get placed for next day, right? So it's just cutting off. It's going to take that window from a 24-hour rolling window down to whatever time you set here. So that's a great feature to have. It's going to give you more control over e-commerce. It's going to give you more control just in general of product that's coming and going. You can also do that with your lead times here and then lead times at the product level. It's just giving you more to do there. Okay? We talked a little bit earlier about same day. This is going to be your same day settings here. Enabling same day, talk to us to get that turned on if that's something that you'd like to do. But this is where you're going to set up your printers for when your same day orders come in and where that ticket is going to print, which is how you're going to be alerted that you have a new same day order. Okay, you can also set your lead times. What's the fulfillment window on a same day order? What's the lead time, 30 minutes, and then what's the cutoff? It's going to be before you close based on the availability and settings that you have for your locations. Okay? Allowed to be multiple locations. You can also decide that Broad Ripple doesn't want to do e-commerce, same day e-commerce today because you're understaffed. Come in here, click this off, and it turns it off for the day. Okay, and easy to come back in and turn it on for the next day. So lots of flexibility in here. Okay. Exceptions are going to pull directly from your settings. Notifications is going to be a great way for you to adjust your e-commerce notifications. I love the way that we allow you to speak to each of the audiences that you have independently, and it's not just a generic one-off email, right? You can really come in here and get creative. Some of you have gotten really creative with the way you talk to customers based on the different templates that we offer. Okay? Wholesale is coming up here next. Again, wholesale is pretty straightforward. Not a lot has changed here other than the menu things that we've talked about. The ability actually to come in here and adjust your wholesale fulfillment has changed slightly. If you offer pickup and delivery per location, you can now truncate those days and times out based on the location, right? So if you're not offering, downtown doesn't have a delivery or pickup, then you can turn that off here. So lots more control inside wholesale, where your product is coming from, where it's going, and when it's getting there, okay? Additionally, delivery charges is a part of the wholesale package, but it's just a nice thing to know that is here for you to work through, okay? Jared, if you wouldn't mind talking about the new POS feature, the auto update, just so that I don't screw it up, but we do have a new big time POS user feature that's pretty great.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to get to a certain POS version for this, but BakeSmart's POS will now auto update. When the version number updates, it's going to alert you that there's a new update. You push the button, it updates itself, you log back in, and you have the new version of the POS. So if anybody is not getting notifications that there's a new version of the POS, let me know and I will get your POS updated manually one last time.
That means Jared doesn't have to log into your computer all the time every time something is is new, which is great. It's a time saver for him. It's a time saver for you guys. It also ensures that you guys are on the most recent. And this is for new BakeSmart users. Cool. All right. Notifications, again, we talked about this. You're going to have tons and tons of ways to talk directly to people based on what you're doing inside your system. Invoices for wholesale. Digital gift cards is going to be the message that goes to folks when they receive a digital gift card, because the email is the gift card, right? The code in there. Okay. What is the message for image request, payment request, same day e-commerce, things like that, and order confirmation? Okay, all of these things are just additional ways that we as a small team have realized that each one of you runs an operation that's same but different, right? And so this is allowing you to have the room inside your own system and allowing you to use BakeSmart the way you serve your customers. And that's what we are trying to do for you. It's our goal in this talk today, is just to show you all those little tips and tricks. And that brings us to the end of my TED Talk. I know we cruised through that, but I really wanted to leave enough room for everybody to be able to jump in and ask specific questions about specific features that we covered today. Okay? And so if anybody has any questions or comments.
I did want to highlight something that you may have done. I was doing some other stuff on delivery days available on locations. Did you cover that? So locations.
Let's jump over there. Let's go to downtown.
If you're offering delivery now, you can manage what days you deliver independently of what days you have pickup, fulfillment, or are open. That's available now too. That applies to your retail delivery.
That's huge because that works for weddings as well. You might not be open on a Sunday, but somebody might be having a wedding and need a delivery that day, right? So you can do an override for the delivery on that Sunday, and then those hours are there, the order rather, on that Sunday, but then the delivery is there for you. Okay, so just a ton of flexibility and control inside the system for you. You asked, we answered. It didn't come out in a big showy, a big announcement because we realized you guys, sometimes we're just busy and we need the thing to work right now. And so that's what today is about. So happy to answer any questions about anything. Bob Anderson is saying, maybe I missed it. Is there a setting that allows cutoff date and time for e-commerce ordering for exception days? For example, I'm closed on holiday X and I'm creating production reports at the end of the day before the holiday for the production for the day after the holiday. So currently I know, and please speak up if I misspeak, guys, or Shell, I know that our holiday exceptions are not currently looking at lead times. So if you have a 3-day lead time on something and you're closed for those 3 days with no production, the customer can still order for the day after you open back up, even if you're not in production. And so what I would caution is that if you know that you're not going to be running production during the days that you're closed, extend that exception out to when they can get that product, not just when you're closed. Okay? Does that make sense, Mike? You've got something there?
Yeah, you're right. So it does not account for those. That's something we're looking at maybe doing. But yes, extend the exception into the morning, perhaps, or even the whole day of that return. I think should solve that.
Yeah.
From what I've understood based on feedback from customers.
Yeah, because you can set, if you do full day closures, you can add another exception that is for time, right? So you can reduce your morning hours to available afternoon, which then would then allow you to fulfill some of the orders that you want to come in the day after you open back up. That's what we did at my location, is that if we were taking orders, it wasn't until noon after the day we were back in space. Okay, I hope that answers your question. So anybody else have any questions or comments about the things that we talked about? Jared, thanks for pointing this out. This is huge. I missed that one as well. So appreciate that.
I think we should discuss a little bit about what's coming very soon in our e-commerce. Okay, cool. We're
That's
not there
huge.
yet.
So
Sorry.
We're not. No, we're there. So in addition to all of the things that we've snuck out on you under the radar, we've also been working on additional measures based on the feedback that we've received from you all. And one of those is going to be a big UX UI, which is a user interface for e-commerce, right? People have said that it's really clicky. You got to click around and do a lot of things. And so we are working on a new look for e-commerce. I think that's going to be coming out here shortly. We are going to want to do a little mini mastering on that. We'll walk you all through what the new e-commerce looks like and the new flexibility behind it. V2 coupled with the new rules and things that we talked about today, coupled with the new UX UI for e-commerce is going to be huge. We're hoping to see a lot of you transition from actual order taking and answering the phone and answering emails into driving people through inquiries in e-commerce with a really nice new robust site. Really excited about that. Do we have an ETA in that at this time? I think it's close, but not there yet. I think we're still about a week or two out.
For e-commerce?
Yes, for the rewrite.
Yeah. Hopefully end of the week.
Cool.
Hang on. So no, probably. I'm sorry, for the UX revamp of ecom. Yeah. Probably not this week, but the following. Probably sit that in dev for a while just so we can do a little extra testing on our end and also introduce customers that'll be affected with it. So
that's what we like to do too.
With the improvement.
Is the development team releases products to our production environment or our development environment, and then the 6 of us sit around and try to break it. We all know that's something that I'm really good at, is breaking it before it gets to customers, because we don't want you guys to be our test subjects, right? We want to make sure that this is functioning flawlessly before we push it out. So we are really taking our time when we release these things to ensure that it functions in that first go round. So we will keep you posted on that for sure. Jordan just asked, will invoicing to house accounts for walk-in purchases on POS be an option soon? So what we're actually doing is suggesting our wholesale portal for any house accounts. So I know that house accounts exist in Classic, but we are treating wholesale as pretty much invoiced customers. Okay, think of them that way. And happy to be corrected here if I'm speaking incorrectly, but we call it wholesale, but really it is invoices. So if you are using house accounts heavily in Classic in your location, we can turn you into wholesale in order to facilitate that, because that is our invoicing portal, okay, or invoicing modal that we have set up in cloud. Okay. What else do we have working on, Shell? We are pushing out BakeSmart Pages, web pages, which I think you have seen in one of the new releases, Shelly.
Yeah, I'd love to explain that a little bit. So one of the things that we encounter as we talk to the hundreds of bakeries that we are not only servicing but also selling and in engagement with in the sales process is that sometimes they don't even have a website, or their website is dated back when maybe they bought the bakery that started in 1985 and they launched their first website in 1990, and it has never just been updated because there's so many other things that the owner is focused on. So one of the things that we can do, and I know that when we ran our bakery, it was a lot to manage e-commerce and my website and my social media, and just making sure that everything had clear, consistent, current messaging. So we have decided to launch BakeSmart websites, which will launch and directly tie into your e-commerce store, but it'll be a place for your homepage, for the About Us, for photos, for everything, basically your entire presence on the URL that you own. So we're really excited.
It's going to increase the SEO as well. And that's something that Jared and the team have put a lot of thought into, is how are we going to populate you to the top of the list when somebody Google searches bakeries near me, right? So the SEO is really important in that. It's a lot of words that I don't understand fully that Jared does, and he makes it happen. And so it's our goal just to make it even easier for you to get your product into the right people's hands. And so BakeSmart Pages is going to be a big part of that. Okay. What else are we doing, Shell? We've got new videos going up on YouTube constantly, including some BakeSmart Baker's Bench.
Yep, we just launched a little fun series between Heather Ari, who is our new sales rep here at the team, and myself. And basically, we miss bakery life. Essentially, we left operating bakeries for all independent reasons. But that's Ari, and we miss it. So we get to talk to all of you guys all the time. So we basically have carved out at least an hour a week where we hit record, and we just kind of talk about things that either you guys have been talking to us about, or something that's just like bubbled to the top of something we're processing through, and we just hit record and talk about it and share our experience with it, how we're thinking about it at BakeSmart, how it might be relevant to the industry at large, things like that. So we are really new at it. We're trying to not get in our own way and just publish it without critiquing it too hard. Check us out, share with us.
That's the thing, is sometimes, Shelly says it all the time, perfection kills progress, and as bakery owner operators, we know that. Sometimes it just has to look good enough, right? As long as it tastes good, maybe it's not functionally attractive, but it's going to taste nice, and the structure is going to be there. We can still put it in the case. So be kind to us as you watch those videos. We are still starting out. All of our Mastering BakeSmart courses can be found on YouTube as well, mini mastering classes as well. We did one on wholesale specifically. And pretty much it's about taking the feedback, the direction, the questions, the requests we get from you, filtering it through the funnel to the development team, and then putting it back out in a way that makes sense for the hundreds of bakeries that we talk to, the bakeries that are signed up in both Classic and in Cloud. Our whole goal is to just make bakery easy and accessible and fun for use.
And in light of that, we will be at the RBA Roadshow in Chicago in about 5 weeks now. We'll also be hosting an event, a Chicago Bakery Social is what we're calling it. And it's just the idea to invite all the bakeries that are attending, and even Chicagoland bakeries, or if you're in driving distance to Chicago, you're invited as well. Where we're just going to host a 2-hour pizza gathering at a really great pizza shop on the river. We're not going to talk business at all. We're literally going to just give you guys an opportunity to come have some pizza on us and
hang out and talk bakery. That's the thing that we love the most, right? So what are those backroom hallway conversations next to the walk-in? Like those. That's what I want to hear about. That's what I miss most about bakery. Let me hide in the corner and talk about something. So anyway, Any other questions from the folks here today about anything that we covered today? Anything that you wished we would cover, something that we can cover during our next mastering class? I'm happy to take that feedback now. Mike, do you have anything to add in ending, or Jared?
No, we've been real busy. We're excited about what's coming down the pipe. Amy, give us a shout and we'll get that turned on for you. Amy's asking how to turn on the text messaging feature.
Yep.
So just reach out to us. We'll get you set up. Yeah, real excited about what we've got. Excited very much. I don't want to tease it too much because things do change, but what our roadmap looks like. I do think these improvements to e-commerce are going to move the needle quite a bit in just adopting a more modern design language that people shopping for food online are used to viewing. That may and most likely will warrant a mini Mastering BakeSmart here in the next week or two. So we'll put the word out on that. Just let us work through some of those things to know that for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for what we've just put out, excited for what's ahead. And great stuff here, Heather. Just
awesome. It was a pleasure. I thank all of you. I thank all of you for coming, cutting an hour out of your day. I know there's about a billion other things that you need to be doing, but we really appreciate the time that you give us. And we're happy to be here and happy to introduce these features as they come out. And we'll see you the next time around. Okay. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks. We'll see you soon, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Christian, I just saw your message. I'll talk.